Howdy y'all, welcome back to another modded Minecraft video. We are back in Botania Garden of Glass, my world version. Some decoration changes mainly, nothing else. I've been trying to clean up the area a little bit. Trashed the trees, went with the sugarcane farm instead. And I haven't progressed too far because one, I don't have much in the way of resources just yet, and I still am really low on EMC. Um, I do have kind of just a small setup for automatic, um, the same one that I pretty much use all the time. I've got to clean up the wiring though, because I was really limited on space and the way I could kind of arrange everything. It's all kinds of spread out. And then over here is, of course, the automatic rune making thing. Just because it's, now that I know how to do it, I'm going to do it as soon as I possibly can. Because I hate crafting runes. And you have to, you just have to make so many darn runes for this Botania mod. And then over here, of course, we're using sugarcane instead of trees. And I'm just having it changed right back over to charcoal, since the EMC value for charcoal is 32 and the EMC value for sugarcane is 32. So it's a straight up swap, just one for one there. And right now we're still just running these 6 endo flames over here. It seems like this little setup right here, this automatic setup, only will kind of keep 3 of the endo flames powered at any one time. So I've got to work on that a little bit. Take a little hiccup juice here. So that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that just one of these would keep more than 3 of these things powered. Oh, that's full. But to really get up into we need to get the Alpine portal open. And so I've got to really kind of increase that area some to get it up to snuff. And then I got to kind of fix this thing up a little bit too. The mob spawner, and the reason I need to fix this up is I can't really get it fully efficient because I can't use water. And it's not that I don't have water, but I actually did go up there and put some water in, all excited I was going to get it going, and all of a sudden I had Enderman everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I completely forgot to teleport when they hit water. So, I mean, I was like, where the hell are all these Endermen coming from? I went, oh. Because normally, if you ever watch any of my series that I do, when I make this, it is it's a build height. It's way up there. So it's as far away from ground spawns as possible. Because for mobs to spawn, they need to be like 128 blocks away from everything. So that's why I do it way up there. I mean, the top of this thing is usually at build limit. And then I build down. You know, what I do is I go all the way up to build limit and then kind of build down from there. But here, they've got nowhere to go but my nice little platform. And they are everywhere. I didn't realize how many actual Endermen were in there. But I can fix that with conveyor belts eventually. We don't have a lot of EMC right now. We're at like 304 to 1,000. Those block breakers over there actually took a considerable chunk of my EMC because they're not cheap. Damn it. The anti-hiccup just didn't work today. Hold on. Oh yeah, much better. Each breaker uses a diamond pickaxe. So you can see the diamond pickaxe, that itself is 24,000 EMC each, and each one of those requires one, and there's 8. So that hurt a little bit. Let me take this monocle off. The graphics on it are weird. None of this stuff really hurt me too much. This is just real easy stuff to make. The most expensive stuff is probably the hoppers, because they're, an iron in a chest, but the droppers are just a piece of redstone and cobblestone. So, this whole setup really is pretty cheap. Even the open crate's just living wood, so it doesn't even cost mana to make. But what I need to do, now that I got a little flower farm going over here, and now this Drum of the Wild, this is the first time I've ever done it in kind of a constrained space. I usually do it, I have all the land in the world, and I never really worry about how far this thing goes, and I always kind of assumed, never assume, that its range was about the same as the flower, but it's not. It is way big. This thing, I started in the middle and had to keep moving it over here because it was hitting my potato farm over here, and even there, way over there, it's hitting these 2 spots in the potato farm. So it has got a huge range on it. Huge. I don't know if you can turn that down. I didn't see anything in the book about it. Of course, I didn't see anything in the book about that range either. So, but it's way bigger than any of the flowers. I don't think there's any one of the flowers that has that kind of range. So to get the benefit of that, you would have to put like 4 of these things around to really get the benefit of what that drum's doing. But just be aware of that in the skyblock map, that is a huge area. I could put that right there and farm this and this, I think. In fact, I am almost positive that it would do that. Now, I do have lily pads of fertility in, and how do we get lily pads of fertility? Well, we have magic crops in here also. And I was able to make a couple of the nature crops, I guess they're called crops, plants. And what you get from the nature crops is these little nature essence. And from there, I was able to get the lily pads. But you can also make mycelium, cactus, looks like thorns. I've never really messed with these enchanted books. Thorns 2. I've never really looked at these enchanted books. I may have to look at making an experience crop. In fact, yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to make some experience crops for sure. We just got to figure out a way to farm those damn things. Because I don't even know if Thaumcraft would do it. Because I know Natural Progression no longer does it. So, now as far as power goes, I've got to figure out what I want to do, whether I want to stick with the Indo Flames. We have more than enough. We're producing more charcoal right now than I'm using for sure. So I got to decide if I want to stick with that or if I want to go with something else. I got to figure out which other flowers other than the Kikumuras I would want to use. But without eggs, one of these chickens I got from the mob trap. I guess he was on a baby zombie and he got out. So I snagged him up with a magic lasso. The other one I got from a cocoon, and the little baby, they just bred. Oh my God! I finally got an egg. First egg. I will not even tell you how long that was in there. That first chicken would not lay a damn egg. So I finally made a cocoon to get that second one, and then I maybe they have to get it on before they start producing eggs. But that is the first egg. So that's nice. That's nice. Now we can. Now we just need a cow. Yeah, learned. So we might be able to make cake eventually. who knows? But we won't. I am not going to use. I don't think I'm going to use the extra utilities. One, I couldn't do it now because I don't have the MC, but I don't think I want to use the cobble gen from there. I want to stick as much as I can within magic mods if possible. So there's no telling what we can do. But I'll see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break real quick, and I am going to take a look and see if I can't find a list of which flowers produce the most mana, if there is such a one. But I imagine there's got to be a list out there. So I'm going to go take a look real quick and see. Oh, one other thing. I did make another big chunk of my EMC was this puppy right here, and that's the Swiftwolf's Rending Gale and a Klein Star. This is actually a lot cheaper than this, but this one is pretty neat. It does a couple of different things. Like if I'm just standing here and I click it on, you see it turns red. Now if we stand here, you'll see the no mobs fall down. And that's the reason for that is I've got a force field around me, and it's keeping them away. So as soon as I turn it off, they'll all fall down because they're falling through the force field. But it also allows me to fly. Now it's not free. It's now it's better than the Flugel Tiara or whatever. I mean, it still costs me energy to do it, EMC, but you got to have a Klein Star to do it, or you have to be carrying fuel on you, redstone, coal, alchemical fuel of some sort or the other. And then, of course, you can also click it to get the force field when you're in the air, too. Now, on a pedestal, if you put this on a dark matter pedestal, you'll see it shoots lightning at nearby mobs. It's pretty slow, though, so it's not great. But if you just got tons of EMC and you need a perimeter defense or something, you can always slap a couple of these around. So I'm going to go and pause and see if I can't figure out the direction I'm going to take, because I've cleaned up. We built well, starting to work on it. The area that I mainly need, which is down here, is done. I have an enchanting table upstairs. Now, eventually, we're going to want to go to Botania enchanting, so we don't waste the books. So we can kind of do it multiple times. I've only done it a few times, and I've cleaned all this up, and I want to get all this moved, but I need to figure out how I'm going to be moving mana around, whether I'm going to do little small things like this, which would be easy enough to do at each area, then have like one main one. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but eventually this will all be gone. I'm trying to get rid of all this ugly cobble, get it gone. Most of this now is grass or just smooth stone. And we've been using the Philosopher's Stone to do that. Just replace this with either dirt or regular cobble, and then I can transmute it back over into smooth stone or sand, gravel, that sort of thing, as we need it. So I'll be back in just a second. Alrighty. Pretty much have our early power gen kind of set up, and what I did, instead of trying to do it all up here, I went down below and made another level, and now we have 12 of the End of Flames so far. We have room for expansion, but I just haven't got around to it yet. And it's all being auto-fed from our farm over there with coal. So I needed to open a portal to Alfheim first because I needed that spark to do what I wanted to do. And this is recessive spark, which means it sends out mana to any other spark in the network that isn't augmented, I believe. So it'll come to this one, which is not really a mana pool, but it's, our Terra Steel making agglomeration or whatever plate fills this one up, which is nice because this has our alchemist thing in there, and it also goes to this for right now, in case I need to make some runes until I get that new area hooked up, which I should do pretty soon, because I'm going to need runes shortly. And it does make it come all the way over here also. Now what I thought I was going to have to do, and I made one, was a what's the damn thing called? The dominant spark, because I thought I was going to have to get it to pull from that one to fill this one up, but it actually does. I should have checked what it was connected to first, because you can kind of see if we click on it that it does connect to the one down there. You can see by the little beam going down. This is coal is being pulled out of this one, and it goes down here to our shit. I'm gonna have to upgrade this to our. I didn't think it was gonna overflow. It didn't seem like it at first, but it does look like it's going to fill up. Yeah, so it's coming down into this barrel. The hopper just pulls it out and puts it into the chest, and then this chest over here, it pulls it out with a transfer node with a pseudo round robin on there. So it just kind of makes sure it keeps all these filled up. So it's kind of doing its thing and making sure so far the ones at the top are going to be filled up. Now, eventually we're going to have different areas, and my plan is to, I'm probably going to move the rune auto crafter down here. This thing I'm going to probably move underneath the main habitat area, and have a chest that's up in the main area that I can put either stone or wood into, and then have the living wood or living stone return to that chest. So this will all be down here also, where you won't see it. And then if we do need to eventually move mana around that we can't reach with a spark, then we can always pump it into a minecart and then move it over there. So, looking online, I said I was going to go look and see if there was any numbers for best producing flowers. In my opinion, looking at the numbers, the best one is the Kikamura, which is the cake-eating flower. I did finally get a milk bucket. That's from these cow crops. 4 of these with a bucket give you a bucket of milk, so we have a bucket of milk. I think 5 of them or something like that give you a steak, and we're progressing up the magical crops kind of chain right now. We need these to get up to the next level of stone, so we can do that pretty soon, and eventually we'll be able to work our way up. I think the next one I'm going to make is the experience crop, because we're going to need that to make the experience book. I never really looked at the experience books. I just thought it was like another mod that was using another way to store experience, but no, that's not what these are. If we look at these and we look at the uses, you can actually do different enchants with the different crops. So we could do efficiency, silk touch, which we'll want to do. Got to get up to emerald though to do that. Fortune. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, we could combine a couple of those. Unbreaking. What's this one? Protection, fire protection. So each one kind of gives you a higher level, except for like silk touch. Damn it! Really? I just took a drink. Oh, what is it with hiccups? I talk for a living. Not like on the air, but in my job, in my job, and I don't ever get hiccups. I mean, I can go all day. What's another good one? Another one in here, respiration. Don't really have a problem with respiration here. I don't think we're going to drown. Thorn sucks. What do we got? Bayonet. Oh, that's a good one. No, just kidding. Oh, another one. Knockback. Yeah. Power, looting. Looting be good. And that's just gold, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. So we'll definitely want to probably play around with those a little bit when we get closer to being able to enchant with mana. I don't see being able to do that anytime soon because that takes a shit ton of mana. And right now, I don't see doing that unless we duplicate this setup somewhere. I could just flip it and do another setup over here, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough coal. I would have to make that a lot bigger farm, I think, to get a higher yield to be able to do more than this. But we'll see. I'll probably add a couple more here and expand that barrel a little bit, just in case it can keep up. But we're still really, really early game. I've only been able to make one single Terra Steel, and that was to make the Alpine portal, and that was it. And I barely had enough. I only had enough to half fill both of these, so we won't be opening this again until we absolutely have to, because we don't want to drain any off any more of our mana right now. Eventually, I will work up to the Terra Steel magical crops, and that'll help us out because we won't have to use so much mana getting Terra Steel, and that'll get us going on the Terra Steel armor and the Terra Shatter, stuff like that. Of course, we don't really need a Terra Shatter either. Not a lot of mining to do around here. The diamond pick is more than enough. Now, I would like to get a silk touch on here, so I could quit having to convert my stone back into stone again. So that's going to be it. That's where we're at. I think it's looking a little bit better. The next thing I want to do is probably fix this. It's not bad right now. I mean, it's alright. I do need to get it hooked up with at least golden spikes so I can start getting some experience. Iron ones don't give you any experience. So I need to get those into golden spikes, and then I think I need magical wood for that. Crap. No big deal. We got books. And then get it hooked up to drain the essence out of there, or the, is it essence or experience? I think it's just liquid experience on this one. But once we get that going, and then of course, way in the future, this will probably get demolished and then turned into, well, no, not necessarily. If and when we get cursed earth, it doesn't need to be way up there, so we can do something different than that. Maybe, I don't know. That's it'd be nice to kind of get rid of that and be able to see the sky. We could do something a little different somewhere else, but I've got a lot of plans on how I want to do this. To get into the Kikamuras, I'm going to need animals, which means I'm going to have to start doing some of those cacophonies, or whatever they're called, breeding up these chickens a little bit. So they need their own area. I can't have them just sitting right there. So probably out this way, and this is the reason I built this door, is I'm going to add another section out here that's going to be just farms. We'll need a pretty good wheat farm, a lot of chickens, and then of course we'll have to make the whole cake factory. And haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet. I may go ahead, now that I know kind of how to do auto crafting with Botania a little bit better. I may try to do it that way, but we'll see. I'll have to do some testing to see how that will work. I mean, I know it'll work with runes, but got to make sure it's going to work with like a cake. I think it will, though. It should. I mean, it's kind of the same thing in theory. So that's it for this one. I know it looks like a lot got done, but really it's just decorative, just visual. There's not a lot done. I actually have less here now than I did in the last episode because all that stuff's torn down and I have to rebuild it. Ooh, almost coughed right there. So this I've got to move, and then I've got to rebuild the rune area. I think those I'm going to do between this episode and next. Because, I mean, you've already seen it. It's already there. I'm just going to move them. The only difference is this one, I think, like I said, I'm going to have a chest somewhere in here. Somewhere where I can just, throw a... well, I don't know where I'll put it. Where am I going to put it? Probably move this stupid bellows over here. It doesn't work for furnaces very well. You know, you're supposed to sit here and pump this thing to make furnaces go faster, and I don't think it works on this one, which is the one I use the most. So I'll probably be getting rid of that. And the weird thing, golden legs give you iron. That is just weird. Totally weird. So that's it, guys. Appreciate you coming by. You got any questions or comments? Let me know what you think of this series. Is it something you want to continue watching, or you want me to move on? I'm not completely done with the My World series just yet. I just gotten a little hooked on this one. There's some stuff I still want to go over in that one, and still do. Cat, I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you in the face. So that's gonna be it. And appreciate you coming by. And until next time, we'll see you later. And you know, before I go, he is looking right at me and meowing. It's like he's like, "Hey man, am I on air?" I'll see y'all later.